This is Stone's Live Poker. And Stone's had a problem. The commentators loved the show. We loved it so much, we refused to see what was happening right in front of us. For months, we sat in that commentary booth, hyping up Mike Postle like he was poker's messiah. The impossible folds, genius. The mind-reading cards, unreal. Every red flag, just another reason to cheer louder. Justin Kelly. I remember the day I met Justin Kelly. I was doing commentary and decided to sit at a 1-3 poker game, where he ended up on my left. The table was full of eccentric players who believed they could manifest winning hands through sheer willpower. It wasn't working, of course, and Train and I quietly chuckled as they donated their chips to the rest of us. When he introduced himself as Train, I was confused. "Your name is Train?" He explained it was just a nickname, and we started talking. He was tall with a friendly face and very goofy. He worked in IT, the kind of guy who could set up your entire home network, automate your devices, and troubleshoot anything with a power button. He was pretty brilliant with tech, the sort of person you'd call to fix something obscure and he'd just know how to do it. In fact, he set up ACR's Pro Michael lawn car with his live stream. His house was like something out of a gamer's dream. Walk in, and the entire living room was lined with pinball machines. He actually became somewhat of a local legend in the Northern California pinball scene. Even people who never met him had heard about the guy with the arcade in his house. I know he was friends with Mike Postle. In fact, we all were during that time. And I heard that he used to live with Justin Caritas before Stones even started.
Are you available 5 minutes from now?
Also, knowing me like for 10 years was a big part of the equation.
I guess
right?
that's only because we have fun stories that we can share on the broadcast, you know?
But one more important thing, Train was a good friend to me. When my son was diagnosed with cancer in 2016, Thanksgiving that year was just the two of us at home. Train showed up with food and wine and quiet company when I needed it most. Another year, when my birthday passed without plans or much enthusiasm, he made sure we went out. He even let me stay at his place one time when the hotels were too expensive that night. Small gestures, but they mattered. And so you see, I have a bias in this situation. It's hard for me to think about him knowing about it and not doing anything. And it's even harder for me to even consider that he would help them. Train was in the commentary booth the very first time Mike cheated. He was also there the last time before I called it out, and countless times in between. I felt dismissed by Train. He always talked Mike up, calling him a genius, a poker god, never entertaining the idea that something was off. Not that I know of. And at that time, it made me wonder, did he know? But looking back, that was just Train.
You know
But I
what they
guess-
say, buddy. Everyone loves a bomb pot.
Oh my god, the special guest has arrived.
Hey-o.
Whoa.
He loved the energy, the spectacle. Maybe he didn't want to believe it. Maybe he just enjoyed the show too much to question it. Still, one thing stood out. After everything blew up, Train reached out. He wanted to talk. He never attacked me. He never got defensive. And in a situation where so many people lashed out or went silent, that meant something. I honestly don't think he was involved, but I'll always wonder what he really knew, and I'm curious if he ever suspected something. We haven't spoken since I went public, mainly because I thought he knew something or was potentially involved for a long time. September 21st, 2019, the breaking point. This was the night I walked away from commentary for good. But to understand why, we need to go back a little bit. A change of scenery. In August of 2018, I moved from Sacramento to San Jose for a new job. For about a year and a half, I commuted back and forth between San Jose and Sacramento to host and to commentate on Stone's Live Poker. On the surface, leaving Veronica and friends was about avoiding the commute to Stone's. Stone's had been my escape, where the drinks flowed too easily and the chaos drowned out the silence I was too afraid to face. but no amount of partying could outrun the truth. My son was gone, and I was hiding from the grief instead of healing from it. By 2019, I started clawing my way back. Fewer late nights, fewer excuses. That 2-hour grind through Bay Area traffic, the potential hotel stays stopped feeling worth it. I chose stability over numbness, one hard day at a time. Stones was one of the many things in my life that I wanted to let go of. So I handed off my Veronica and Friends game to Anthony, aka 4-Bet Jesus. With his cowboy hat and high-stakes experience, he was perfect to take over. He was well-connected, and actually another commentator got Berkey in the game for him. September 21st, 2019, was Anthony's debut as host. I agreed to do commentary one last time to help with the transition. That day, I picked up Matt Berkey and Christian Soto. Berkey shotgun, talking a mile a minute about everything and anything, while Christian Soto squeezed into the back seat that, until that day, its only purpose was to avoid high insurance rates for sports cars. The whole drive, I debated warning them about Mike Postle. By that time, I had been screaming into the void for months. To Stones and Justin, who swore that they'd audited everything and everything was clean. To other players who thought he was potentially on a heater. To even Anthony, who still wanted him in the game because he brings action. And on top of that, Mike had mysteriously stopped cheating all summer during the World Series of Poker. But as Berkey rattled on about everything, I choked. Maybe I was just a low-stakes player who didn't understand high-level poker. Maybe Mike's impossible folds were just next-level genius. So I kept my mouth shut. I let Berkey's endless chatter fill the car and let Christian suffer silently in the back. The biggest mistake of that drive? Not the tight squeeze, not enduring Berkey's monologue. It was staying quiet when I knew damn well what Mike Postle was. Because that night, at that game, Mike would go right back to his old tricks.
His opponent's like rather tight, maybe he can check, but he's not going to be able to do that because Postle is going to lead. Oh, man.
You're getting her Christian get so excited.
Isn't it so cute watching Christian watch this for the first time? It's so cute.
It's so great. Welcome to you.
We've been seeing this for years.
All I want to do is I just want to sit down and pick your brain after you hop in the game with Postle, and you're like, what the hell did I just play with? Like, what just happened? Yeah.
I mean, this is an interesting spot because what kind of hands does he do this with? And it gets through.
He makes it work.
It's a lot of, it's pressure. Postle has moves, man. Postle has moves for sure, up to 12,000.
The game was 10-25-50. Christian didn't get a seat, so he joined Justin Kelly, aka Train, and me in the commentary booth, while I mostly listened. For 5 hours, I watched Mike Postle play what I now know was an impossible game. That was the night I muttered, "It's like he knows." Train, in the booth with me, kept praising Mike's genius, treating every questionable play as brilliance. The more he talked, the more certain I became that Mike was cheating. And in that moment, I thought Train knew and willfully ignored it. After the game, during my post-game interview with Berkey, I asked about Mike's play. He was talking about Mike being a good post-flop player, but it was his first time playing with him. After the interview ended and we were off air, Berkey asked me why there was a no-phone policy in the poker room and why Marley couldn't even take pictures with her phone or have the phone on the table, and why he couldn't even have his phone on him during the game. I told Berkey that I didn't know why there was a phone ban, but internally, I knew it was because Justin was trying to alleviate rumors of Mike Postle cheating again. I asked Berkey again about Mike Postle, this time off air. I wanted to alleviate my own concerns and see if I actually was correct in my assumptions about Mike. Then Justin Karitis entered the booth and abruptly changed the subject when Mike came up. Looking back, I remember the commentator who told me that Justin would keep the mics hot to listen to what we spoke about, and I think that's what triggered Justin to come into the booth. He wanted to do a bit more damage control and make sure we weren't talking about Mike too much. I asked about the new no-phone policy. Justin claimed it was due to a security issue at Live at the Bike. Apparently, there was a potential issue with cheating on Live at the Bike, but it felt like a deflection from Justin. Another way to avoid addressing the growing suspicions about Mike. In that moment, I realized Justin wasn't just being naive. He was completely inept and seemed to be actively protecting Mike. I thought he was so grossly incompetent and that he just couldn't see that his star player was potentially cheating. And at that time, whether he was involved or just turning a blind eye, it didn't matter to me. The effect was the same. That night was the last time I did commentary. It was also the night I stopped doubting what I'd seen for months. Mike was cheating, and Justin was letting it happen, and no one was doing anything about it. What I didn't know yet was how deep it all went. Where's the promotion? The silent treatment. Stones had Matt Berkey, Christian Soto, and Marley Sprague, 3 massive draws, sitting at their table, and they did almost nothing to promote it. No hype, barely any social media push, and worse, they wouldn't even let Berkey use his phone. They wouldn't let Marley, who has a huge following, post about the game. They wouldn't even let them have their phones at the table. Meanwhile, Stone's viewership was staggering. While other streams grew, theirs just sat there. No momentum, no buzz. And who was in charge of everything? Justin. The games, the stream, the promotions, the Twitter account, all of it. And he wasn't just bad at his job. He was actively keeping attention away. Why? Because the game wasn't for viewers. It was for fleecing. The fewer eyes on the show, the better. And Mike? Oh, he stopped playing off-stream almost entirely. No more regular games, no more break-even grind, just magic on Stones Live. Funny how that works. Marley Sprague, the fold that changed everything. Marley Sprague played in the hand that removed all doubt for me. On September 21st, 2019, in what would be my final commentary appearance, I watched Mike Postle make a play that defied all logic and confirmed everything for me. Here's what happened. Mike, holding top pair with a gut shot, faced a $600 bet into an $800 pot on the turn from Marley. This was the same player who for 18 months would spaz out on the river with just ace high, famously said, "I can't fold top pair."
I definitely can fold top pair on the flop.
You can or can't?
I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Can't. Okay, I thought that's right.
And played like an uncontrollable maniac.
Mike is blowing Paul off a chop. Paul checks. He's got one pair all day long. Mike knows it and says, "You can't call." He scoops the chops. He scoops all the chops.
Yet in this critical spot with plenty of equity, he folded. Because Marley already had her straight, and Mike knew. That's what made his cheating so obvious in the end. His river decisions weren't so good, they were perfect. And in this case, it was the turn. And this was every single time. The man who used to punt with marginal hands suddenly developed flawless judgment, but only on streams, and only on Stones Live. Off stream, his results disappeared. The break-even player became unbeatable, but only when the cameras were rolling. Marley's hand just didn't win her a pot. It exposed the truth we'd all been seeing but couldn't quite prove. The Emperor had no clothes, just an inexplainable ability to always make the right fold and always make the right play at the right time.
And he mucks. This is what I'm talking about, people. Postle takes the weirdest lines and gets people to lay down huge hands all the time, but when he has top pair and a straight draw, he's able to just lay down against the nuts.
Sense.
Postle is just like a freak. He's just a freak of nature,
It's like
man.
he knows.
The long drive home. The highway stretched empty ahead of me, just dark pavement and the hum of the engine. No music, no podcast, just silence and the weight of what I'd seen. Every hand replayed in my head like a loop. The fold against Marley, with top pair and a gut shot. And then he just lets it go like he's psychic. The way he mumbled through hand breakdowns, never making sense, never sounding like a player who actually studied the game.
What do you think, an ace-king, ace-queen?
I'm not really thinking at this point.
The perfect river decisions every single time, as if luck had been replaced by a cheat code. It was all so obvious now. And the worst part? Nobody was going to do a damn thing about it. Not Justin, not Train, not any commentator, not the players who've been getting robbed blind for months. So as the miles ticked by, I made a decision. If no one else would stop this, I would. The silence of that drive didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt like the calm before the storm. The week before the storm. I needed to do this right. I wasn't a poker pro, not in the way that would make people take my word alone seriously. If I was going to expose Mike Postle's cheating, I needed proof. Something undeniable. Something even skeptics couldn't ignore. So I had to build the case. I started compiling the most egregious hands into a video. A friend reminded me of the hand against Scotty. A hand so blatant that Scotty, one of the most fearless action players I've ever been around, refused to ever come back to my game.
There we go. Thank you, Great Gamer Raz. I'm like, I know, see, that's what I love about the chat, especially our chat. So I can ask any question and they either A, already know the answer, or B, will like research it and Google it. When I'm like, ask some ridiculous numbers answer, I'm like, oh yeah, here's your answer. They're on point. So right there, I'm sure you like screenshotted it, froze it, said 65K on the table according to the last stat count. This is easily our biggest record-breaking Veronica and Friends game.
I think you're right.
By a mile, because the last time it was about 50K on the table, and even then it kept going all night. Sugar Kitten, what up, girl? Thank you very much for the follow there on Twitch.
Got a follow.
Yeah, I know who Sugar Kitten is. You're a rock star. Thanks for tuning in.
Do I?
No.
Nope.
Raised to 60 here by Postle with Ace Deuce, and Veronica with the good old mystery hands going to 3-bet up to $300, and now head duck with 10s and position. She makes the call, and a snap call by Scott with 7-9 suited. I love it. I wonder if Scott is the guy.
He's been in one of Veronica's games before.
I think he might own a string of like teriyaki shops and eateries. If he's the guy Postle was telling me about the other night, I'm almost positive it is. That's awesome. And he said depending on how deep you get into the buy-ins, his buy-ins go from like $100 bills down to like 5s, 10s, 20, like basically everything that was in the cash register.
Nice.
Queen 4 feels down here on board, and wow, not a whole lot going on for any of the other opponents in this hand except for head ducks. 10s are good, but considering the healthy 3-bets pre, she might play this hand relatively cautiously, but if it checks to her in position, she's getting in a bet, or at least gonna have a pretty good idea where she's at regardless. Riz says, I will move to the parking lot. Well, you wouldn't be the only one, man. Move to the parking lot. Come on, hang out.
Russ McKinley wants to see just once a 20K pot Postle versus Frank, and of course like third pair versus fourth pair all in. I mean,
that's a good read. That's very possible.
It totally could happen. They're kind of staying away from each other tonight, I've noticed.
So it does go check all the way around 5 on the turn, and this is great because head duck was basically checking in her position just to make sure nobody was looking to check raise with the queen, and now she can very comfortably, I think, just flat call here and continue in this hand and feel pretty good about it. The turn does potentially bring a flush draw on board. We can see nobody has it, but in this case, I think Scott's bet should find folds from Postle. However, he also has a wheel draw now, so you never know. Oh, I love that. Love that pick. That's great.
All right, guys, if you are not following us yet on Instagram, check it out right now at Stones Live Poker. I'm about to put up a great group photo of this game right before they get started. Go head over there, give it a like. Give me like 30 seconds, and I'll have it posted for you.
And there we go. He does find a fold, so I would imagine Veronica... Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Back at Postle. Action tracker. A little hammered note. King Grizz, what do you want to know, bud? I see you got timed out. I mean, you know, we only have one rule on the stream. It's pretty straightforward. Just don't be an asshole. So I don't think you were. But if you have a question and I can answer it, I'd be more than happy to, brother. Casual $430 drawing dead bet. Standard. And I knew it. I knew somehow, some way, Postle was going to find some sick raise here, and he sure does. He reaches down into the depths of his soul while reading the souls of everybody else and just goes for it. That's 1.2. And this is the same way he would play a queen, right? Check the flop, raise the turn, and so I don't envy head duck's position here. I would not be surprised to see her find a fold here all day. Game stalker fold. What up, buddy?
What's the day, the 16th?
I think so. Yeah, 16th it is. That sounds good. And of course she's going to find a fold, and Scott will as well. And this is interesting. This is like the second time I think Postle's done this weird, hefty raise.
Oh, let's just keep watching.
Oh, we're going to go to table talk just in case things get weird.
Do it.
You know when I come to play the game where it's like, standard. You want to be
I'm going to use a plus. You're going to use a plus? Yeah.
plus 25. What?
Plus 2,500. I'm going to use a plus. I'm going to straight plus.
I'm like,
I'm trying to figure out how I can lose this.
where there's like a dynamic going on with different people. Where
You're drunk?
How
much is the min raise?
You like that? It's fun.
Yeah, how much is it?
Plus 25.
Plus 2,500 more. 2,500 more. Wait, you get 2,500 more?
Yes. Yeah, is that plus
She
25?
said plus 2,500 more. So you got the 1150 plus the 2550, the 25. Can I get that? So 3650.
You really have queen five?
Can I get that? I'm sorry, there's some frosting to be licked up here. Let me call John and say, man, John missing out,
Yeah,
right? I am with my buddy, the big
John, what do you got?
John! We gotta get John here next month. Who's John? He's another Mexican buddy.
How much is that? 2,500 more?
36.
No, hey, Mike, you put it in 25 more. Let's make it easy.
Okay, sounds
Simple.
good.
There you go.
Oh, simple. I like your thinking.
Oh, yeah.
You, bitch.
I'm on the platform, right?
I have
Your hand's fucking
really good.
I
I don't care what you have.
Really?
I'm drunk. I don't care what you have.
I don't care what you got.
It's only money.
Only chips.
Only chips.
I'll make it 5,000.
Make it 5,000.
You know what I told her? You need to get her in the game. What is that? I'm like an old lady.
If you got queen 5,
Oh,
pass up, dude.
Lord Jesus, stop that shit up. Stop posting that.
You don't have queen 5? Thank God.
She competed today in like some
5,000.
You got
Oh my God, you gotta show them the fucking hand now.
I have a queen.
You have ace queen, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I have ace queen.
Ace queen?
Ace queen.
What?
I have a queen.
We can rabbit. No, I want a rabbit too.
I have a queen.
Turn that down.
I think we might have just broke Justin. I think he's broken. I think he's completely done.
Like I said before, when I think I know about poker and shit like that goes down,
Well,
I just like it's basically just like you know nothing, Jon Snow.
We're clipping that. What time is it?
I reached out to other pros, players like Matt Holtzclaw, who'd been on the stream often. He warned me, you'll need a bigger data set. But I didn't have the time or tools to analyze every hand. I needed something short, damning, and impossible to dismiss. The call for backup. Then I messaged Joey Ingram on Instagram. We'd followed each other for a while. Hey, I think there's cheating on Stones Live. If I go public, will you look into it? His response was instant. Yes, 100%. That was September 24th, 2019. The weight of what came next. For 4 days, I sat on my couch, turning it over in my head. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm ruining a man's life over a hunch? What if I'm right? What's going to happen in the live stream? What if players side with Mike? But the hands didn't lie. The patterns were there. And if the poker room wouldn't act, someone had to. I decided to stay objective. No personal attacks, just facts. My platform was Twitter, my evidence was the video, and my conscience was clear. The only question left was, who would listen? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the bubbles burst. I shoved my stack into the pot knowing the game was rigged. Now we wait. Next time, we'll find out who's got the nerve to call, who will fold to save their skin, and who's still bluffing. Now all we have to worry about is if Mike and his cell phone are still in the game.